Let me see your identification.
What did you say? I'll tighten those restraints. Scavenger scum.
We don't need to see his identification.
I will remove these restraints and leave the cell with the door open.
My lord.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to this Sunday special edition of the
Sunday
of the Sidebar Cantina podcast. I'm Mr. Jason Roscom. With me here each and every single week, the Darth Vader to my Palpatine, Dave Martin. Hello, Dave.
Hello, Jason.
How are you?
I've got just this Star Wars just glow about me because we just came from watching episode 3.
That's right, the theatrical re-release.
And I've got the John Williams soundtrack. It was just washed over me in its appropriate venue.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just not
Yeah, we've been drowning in Star Wars this week, and we got a lot to talk about.
Hell yeah.
And just for everybody's clarity, what is our main topic today?
The main topic of today is a recap of Andor Season 2, the first 3 episodes.
Yes.
So we did get through all 3 episodes.
Yep.
So
Which, and I'm glad we did,
yes,
for reasons that we'll talk about later.
Yes.
So, but without further ado, let's just keep things rolling. You want to hop right into our motherfucker.
Our Patreon stuff that you are
I had
read?
I had it up. It was right there, ready to go.
That's
and
what she
then, I clicked the out of the page, I guess. So I know I'm the worst.
So while you're doing that, I a sidebar.
Hmm.
I'll make the announcement to the general public. If I seem distracted, more than usual anyway, is I'm actually cataloging our Sacred Jedi texts into the Sacred Jedi card catalog. Which I have to add Jedi to that.
You're not going to be doing that during the show, are you?
I'm probably going to be doing it during the show, Jason.
Jesus Christ.
I can't help it.
Sure you can.
No.
Just turn it off.
No, that's not how that works.
Whatever. Let's just continue. Should we talk about Patreon now?
Are you ready to talk about Patreon?
I'm ready.
Because that is your job.
All right. Well, we'd like to give a huge shout out to all of our current patrons: Frank Kalevich, Don Solsky, Helen Martin, Shotgun Mark, Nick from Swede Studios, Scott and Kim from the Use and Abuse podcast, Catherine Rennick, Tina Land, Wally Frogmore, my wonderful mother-in-law, Patricia Goodstein, Lord Helmet Fire, who I think I just saw in the chat.
Yes, you did.
The Orange and Fetch Show, Carly Vickers.
My girlfriend sucked 37 dicks. In a row?
That was the wrong button.
Carly Vickers.
There we go.
David Schmuck, Chantal from Pop My Culture, Kristen Roscom, Sterling Azer, Dragon Buddy, Frederick Martin, and Nicholas Schaefer. If you'd like to consider becoming a supporter, you can find us at patreon.com/thesidebarcantina. Thank you again to all of our listeners and supporters. You are the reason why we do this.
Was that your Grievous impression there?
Time to abandon smoking.
You know what it is?
Mm.
I think it's because his lungs are so tiny. You know, when Kenobi opens up the chest piece there?
Yeah.
Which you have that fucking armor. Like, why would you make it so
easy to open?
Right.
And expose your
Right.
only organs
Here's
to the
this,
outside
like,
world?
This, I don't know, this fucking placenta of fucking whatever that's holding the heart and all this other bullshit in.
Yeah.
Like, you want to put a little more armor around that?
You would think.
No? All right.
Yeah. So, anywho, what were we talking about?
You were probably throwing it to me for notes, but I seriously doubt, since we just sprung this on everyone, and up to and including Lunar Girl, which we are the worst. So I'm sorry, Lunar Girl. So I will save just reading random shit for the end of the show.
All right. Easy enough. So, as you mentioned at the top of the show, we just got back from watching Revenge of the Sith in theaters.
Fuck yeah.
And I just wanted to point out that this weekend, Revenge of the Sith was the #2 movie in theaters. made $25.2 million domestically. So it's just behind whatever the hell the number one movie is. I don't even give a shit. But yeah, number two movie, and it made $42.2 million worldwide. So for a movie that basically Disney just got to like throw on some sort of digital distribution, ship it out to theaters and be like, there you go. And then now they're making millions upon millions of dollars. It's they've already made more of a profit from this Revenge of the Sith re-release than they did with their last two Disney Plus shows, because I think they both lost money.
Wow. Well, it just goes to show that these re-releases, it should never be a point where it's like, you know what, we're not going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
It is a cash fucking cow.
Yeah.
That we will continue to go fucking suck on that teat.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like I said before, these movies were made to be seen on the screen.
Yeah. Oh,
just hands down. I don't care what fucking setup you have at your house. Like, you can have the biggest screen, the most expensive sound system. Doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
Like, it is meant to be seen in that theater environment. They're fucking watching, like, when they were sitting around in ILM, they're sitting in a theater.
Yeah.
Watching it.
Yeah, like watching the rough cuts and things like that.
Like, that's the fucking experience that you're supposed to get. In fact, we were just talking about it before we went live.
Mm-hmm.
There were aspects of the movie that we wouldn't have gotten if we were sitting here watching it on television.
Yeah, you lose it when you're just watching it from home.
Yeah, it's the Venator fucking sliding up and it seeming like it's coming almost at you,
and then like over you, and you can hear the booming sound of the engines going over you. Yeah, this was the scene right after Anakin and Obi-Wan said goodbye for the last time. When Obi-Wan was off to go fight General Grievous, and he's pulling away in that ship, and it's just
they're leaving the docks, and it's it's kind of a throwaway scene because it's like a pullback in what we have watching on Disney Plus or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But in the theater, it was that ship moving was actually, it became a real thing.
Yes,
coming at you.
Yeah,
and I was saving this for this conversation. This was supposed to have gotten the 3D treatment, right?
Right, from back in
from back in
before
the day.
the buyout.
And I wonder if there was some aspects of these theatrical re-releases that when they did like kind of the digital touch-ups,
mm-hmm.
if those things are in there. Something like that ship coming through. There's a lot of the lightsaber action where the lightsaber just seems to have it's got the it seems like the lightsaber is like coming through the screen at you.
Yeah.
That just seemed to be more of that.
Yeah.
As we sat in the theater, but I mean, it's the fucking music.
Yeah.
It's the music. You're hearing it so much better.
Yeah, because I turned to you about 3/4 of the way through the movie, and
Yeah.
I'm like, this might be John Williams' best Star Wars soundtrack.
Yeah,
overall.
Yeah, I agree with that assessment. I mean, I listened to the shit out of this.
Yeah.
This music.
Yeah, and so many parts of this soundtrack have been reused elsewhere in Star Wars stuff, be it like in movie trailers, video games, stuff like that. Like so much just from Revenge of the Sith has been taken and reused.
Yeah. And the fight scene, when you finally get to the point where Obi-Wan is standing at the top of that ramp, and Anakin's like completely lost it.
Yeah.
And it's all happening like it's so much bigger. Like Obi-Wan's presence is just bigger in that moment.
Yeah.
Than just standing on a ramp. I mean, we've watched we did our review on this show. What?
It's a few
3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I watched it probably 3 times before then.
Mm-hmm.
On the computer screen and on the TV and with headphones on and everything else.
Yeah.
seeing it then, just now on with Obi-Wan just standing there, like it hit different.
Mm-hmm.
Just hit different. I was like, holy shit! Like the impact of him standing there in white, right? Anakin's in black. Like, you pick up these contrasts so much more.
Yeah, and as part of that theatrical experience.
Yeah, it was dude. If you and obviously people are going to go are going out to see it.
Yeah,
because it shows in the revenue. But if you haven't, you need to go.
Yeah, I think it's playing through Tuesday.
I believe so. That's
yeah.
what, the 29th or 30th, I think.
Well, we're doing this on Sunday the 27th, so 2 days is Tuesday the 29th.
Yeah, so check your local listings.
And you don't have to worry about watching the podcast tomorrow night because
Right.
we're not doing a Monday show this week, so go see it tomorrow night.
Yes, you should absolutely buy tickets, go see it tomorrow night. 10 out of 10. It doesn't matter it doesn't matter how much you like or dislike any of the Star Wars re-releases. If they re-release The Last Jedi tomorrow, I'd go see it in the theater.
Probably, yeah.
I mean, it's just, I am not going to miss an opportunity to see a proper John Williams scored movie
Yeah,
from
and
Lucasfilm.
right. And I kind of wondered, like, how is Disney and Lucasfilm going to look at this? Because it made far more money than they were expecting, I'm sure. So, how are they going to process this and, continue on this momentum when something like The Force Awakens 10th anniversary happens this December? Are they going to hop on every anniversary now because they think they can make a decent amount of money?
Why the fuck not?
Doing a re-release?
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, because didn't we also do The Phantom Menace last year?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I think it was last year we had The Phantom Menace 25th anniversary re-release.
I think along with the Sacred Jedi card catalog, we also need the Sacred Jedi show list of the 366 shows that we've already done.
I know. Plus, we've got a couple of bonuses in there.
I think I want to say around episode 100 something ish.
Mm.
We may have had a conversation, and one of the listeners, I want to say it was Scott,
Mm-hmm.
had said that there was a list, and he did it or somebody else did it.
Oh, of all of our episodes?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Somebody had said it, or I'm making that up because we did a lot of there was a lot of drinking involved in early in the show.
Yeah, the first half of this series was
yeah. Before Jason and my livers turned into like kickstands.
Yeah.
We hit
and
we did a fair amount of drinking on the show.
yeah, and to be fair, our livers were already on the way out before we started the podcast, but
True.
then this just kind of solidified it.
We can't blame the podcast for the liver issues.
Yeah, we can blame the Air Force for that.
Yeah. Using alcohol as a sleep aid, 10 out of 10 don't recommend.
Yeah.
But it is effective.
I suppose. Yeah. Something else I was just thinking about, talking about them capitalizing on these re-releases. Maybe we'll get another Skywalker Saga marathon one of these days.
I can't imagine they won't take advantage of that.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know what kind of occasion would need to come up for them to do that. Well, fuck. Actually, I do. Next year is the fucking 50th anniversary of the OG Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
So, they're going to be all over this with...
They're going to have to. There's no way that they're not going to have a...
Oh, I'm sorry. And it's not next year. It's in 2 years.
77. Yeah, it's 2 years.
I was thinking this year because they said the next celebration they're going to be, doing all kinds of
celebration.
They're going to be doing a lot of the 50th anniversary stuff. So
they'll probably be gearing up for it.
Yeah.
Where's the 2027 celebration?
Anaheim. We talked about it last week.
Oh, that is the one we were talking about.
Yeah. And it's in 2 years, 2027.
Yes.
Kristen and I are already starting to make some plans.
Yeah. Hey, I haven't talked to Kathy about it yet. But the John also said he might try and talk his girl into that. Yeah.
Okay.
We can this could be an event.
This could be an event. And I know Bronco Fett was mentioning last week that he's going to try to go.
Yeah, I mean it's a lot closer to his home turf.
Yep.
So it's we'll keep everyone posted, but that's a couple years from now. In the meantime, you have a couple more days to go get the theater experience for Revenge of the Sith, and it's worth it.
Yes.
That it just is. It's just worth it. Go do it. Enjoy it. Sit from credit to credit. Sit from the very first 20th Century Fox opening.
Yeah, which was
until
nice
the
to see.
Last credit rolled past. And you won't be disappointed.
Right.
Like there's no, I'm not saying that because there's a thing after the end credits. I'm just saying that so you can listen to the entire finale. Because to me, for my money, the finale for episode 3 is the finale.
Yep.
Like, because this was George's swan song of a movie.
Pretty much.
And so there's elements in that finale from every one of the movies.
Yeah.
And it just, God, it's so good. I get goosebumps.
Yeah, there was one moment that I turned to you in the theater when the three of them were talking, Bail Organa, Yoda, and Obi-Wan after the twins had been born and Padme died of sadness.
Right.
Where they were talking about what to do with the kids. Yoda looks over at Bail Organa and he's like, I'll take the girl. And it's the Leia theme playing. And then as soon as he looks over to Obi-Wan, it transitions right to the Luke theme, which was so smooth and so well done. And it felt like one piece. It didn't feel like they were just, patchworking different pieces in there. It flowed so well.
It wasn't an edit. It was written that way.
Yeah.
And if it was an edit, it was a perfect edit.
Mm-hmm.
Getting back to the theater experience of that, there were so many little like nuances that I picked up in the theater that I generally missed. Watching it on the small screen, air quote, even if you have a 70-inch television at home, you can't possibly see the things that you can see on the movie screen.
Yeah.
God, and now there was a couple of things I was like, I need to mention this in the show, and now those things are escaping me. Like you mentioned the thing you already talked about, that
the ship flying over.
Yes.
There was one thing that I did see that I'm gonna have to like pull up Disney Plus and double check. The scene after they crash the ship, another happy landing.
Yes.
Obi-Wan and his sass,
right.
Oh, it was good. And they're pulling in to go see the politicians and all that, and it's like a big wide shot, and you see all kinds of other ships parked there.
Yeah.
I swear to God, I saw 2 C-17s in the fucking corner. I'm like, what? So I'm gonna have to go back and look.
That'd be fucking hilarious.
Yeah. They look like they were in the shape of airplanes, and I swear to God, there was like the C-17 body.
I feel like we would know if there were C-17s, like something like that would be out already.
Oh yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, it was quick, and I'm like scanning. I'm like, there's got to be some hidden ships in there, and then I see, what is that, an airplane? And then
I did the same thing. One thing I did notice, the fucking, I got so excited for the fight sequence with Anakin and Obi-Wan, and the CGI with Yoda is so fucking good.
Yeah.
I was watching Yoda's footfalls when they're on the Tantive 4 and watching him walk like through the hallway. Like he's walking on that floor. You can't discern he's not there.
Sure.
Like the angle, the fucking shadowing, like everything is fucking perfect. Like those animators did such a good job of making that Yoda seem so fucking real.
Yeah, and I tell you what, the CG in general is really well done to the point where it holds up today.
Yeah,
there's some CG out there today that's shit compared to this.
Yeah, I know. When we talked about it a couple weeks ago, you had issues with the ragdoll Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
And what's funny, after I was thinking about it, they get into the elevator shaft, and Anakin's holding. Basically, he's most likely holding a ragdoll Obi-Wan,
Right.
because there's no way he's carrying fucking Ewan McGregor.
No.
In that sequence. I mean,
though he was pretty fucking ripped.
Yeah,
like
he
that
was.
scene where he gets out of bed, he's got the raw.
right? Yeah,
I'm like, God damn, man.
he was throwing his abs around in fucking full HD, and I'm like, I don't need to see that, dude.
Yeah. I don't know. What is it about Star Wars and shirtless men?
I don't know. Hey, if you got it, flaunt it, I guess.
Look at my sexy body.
Oh, if you want my body and you think I'm sexy. Yeah, it was just so fucking good. And the most jarring part of the whole fucking movie, and if George is going to go in and fix something, fucking fix Padme's face in those fucking
That scene,
sequences.
it's so fucking weird.
It's so weird. She looks so different. I mean, we talked about it a couple weeks ago when we did the review.
We talked about it in our episode 0.
Yeah.
Our prequel episode.
But it's like, what the fuck? Seeing it on the big screen again, I was just like, it's obviously her.
Yeah.
But it's like she was in a rush and didn't go to the makeup trailer or something.
Well, and something about the shape of her face too is just off. Like she lost a shitload of weight and she's kind of like got like those skeleton cheeks kind of thing.
Yeah, like she just did Black Swan or something. I don't know. I don't know if the timing of that is right or whatever. She just didn't look like herself.
Right.
And every other fucking sequence, every other sequence she's in, like including the coffin that she's getting floated by in this fucking, this parade.
Yeah.
She looks like hot ass Natalie Portman.
Mm-hmm. Just dead.
This fucking sequence of, I want to have our baby in the thing. And she turns around and she might as well be a Monty Python fucking character. Like, oh, there's some blowy filth down here. Like, dude, where did you come from?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, you're so beautiful. Like, is this a joke? Like,
you see Hayden over there.
right? It's just, hey, can we throw Natalie into the fucking makeup cart?
Yeah, I don't know, man. That scene is gonna live in infamy just because of how fucking weird
it's
it
just
is.
jarring, man.
Yeah.
Like, fucking fix that shit. Like, I think we did talk about it, that it was like it's something they filmed late.
Yeah.
Like, so it was.
Well, it was a reshoot, I think.
Yeah.
So
they had to piece that bit together, but
it was strange.
dude, you have all this access to. Like, I'm not saying CGI, do some CGI to Natalie Portman's face, because it's still Natalie Portman, but
yeah, it's just.
But do some shading or something.
Yeah,
like, give her some better lighting.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck, you're not doing her any favors.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, because it stands out.
True. Yeah. Now, a couple of beautiful things we did see were 2 nice sets of Twi'lek boobs.
Shide boobs.
Yeah, because we had the opera scene as Anakin's running up the stairs to get into the show.
Right.
You see that red Twi'lek chick walking up the stairs with a massive rack. Holy shit!
She's not red. She's like human skin tone.
Oh, I thought she was like had a red tone to her skin.
No, the carpet was red.
Oh.
Yeah.
So it didn't match the drapes, is what you're saying.
No.
Okay.
No, she had like, not like, she had like peach, almost like crayon peach color.
Okay. Maybe it's just the carpet was kind of making my eyes see red.
Because she was wearing white.
Yeah.
So it was white, just draped on cantaloupes of fucking shide boob.
Yeah.
Like,
And
you wonder whose wife that was. Like, hey, honey, like, I really want to be in this movie.
yeah.
Like, okay, well, look, I'm gonna put you in this outfit. Like, you're gonna wear these Leiku. What is this? Like, don't worry about it. Just put this on. And this character, they get real dressed up all the time. And I'm not saying that you're a fucking prostitute. However, I want you to interact with this individual like you're there to give him a good time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was probably like one of Spielberg's mistresses or something as a favor from George, like, I got to keep this girl quiet, can we throw her in your movie? I told her I'd put her in one of mine, but she's not a good actress,
Right.
but she's hot. She's got a nice rack.
All she got to do is walk up some stairs.
Yeah, so George, would you mind just doing me this solid?
Her fake ass tits aren't going to move, but it's okay. It's fine. And put them front and center too.
That's right. Hard to miss on the big screen.
Right.
Same with Ayla Sakura.
Right.
You know, another set of nice Twi'lek boobs that we got to see.
Yep. You knew those fucking clones were running a train on that body after they fucking shot it.
No. Oh no!
As they're panning back, and the clones are like in this semicircle, like, they're shooting all right. They want you to believe that they're shooting at her, but really,
the guns are it's symbolism,
right? Right. It's set for stun.
Oh my god! Oh, sorry, that was good.
Did you notice like something that I guess again, big screen noticing things? Palpatine's the clone troopers that were with Palpatine now had the red shading, and
you're talking the Royal Guards?
No, not well. So they're clones, but with the red stripes.
Yeah. The ones that they're like, we can't find Yoda's body anywhere. Right. Yeah.
And they're with him when they go to Mustafar.
Yeah.
Taking those orders.
Mm-hmm.
Is that because they're like the clones? This is like the part of his brigade, basically. Like, is this his security?
I would imagine
detail?
so. Because, I mean, fuck, if you had access to all those clones, you know, and this whole thing was orchestrated by you, hell yeah, I'd have my own little battalion.
Well, because we know Anakin has his, right? Yep. Darth Vader has his basically his battalion of clones that are loyal to him.
And Obi-Wan does too. He's got Cody and all the
Well, I'm talking like
ones.
post Order 66, right?
Oh.
Right. So you have the clones that are marching in with Anakin.
Are those all the blue? Yep.
Those are like known in canon as these are like Anakin's troops.
Yes.
And they're just as loyal to Vader when it transfers over. Like it's been all over the comics, I'm pretty sure. I know we've read it.
Yeah.
So I wonder if like, okay, Palpatine, because his his the guard, the ceremonial guard is in red. And then I see that those clones that are with him are in red. It makes me wonder if it makes him part of that detachment.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
Like they're a bigger part of his security detail.
Right. It's like, okay, these clones are detailed to fucking work the Emperor's, whatever. So anyway, again, just there's things that you can, when you can turn your head and see different sides of the movie, because it's on the big screen. Yeah, you just notice different stuff.
Yeah. I'm not gonna be able to stop thinking about the clones running a train on dead Ayla Sakura.
You're welcome.
Oh man. All right.
You are welcome, sir.
So yeah, excellent experience. Go see it. We've said enough about the Revenge of the Sith re-release. Do you want to get into our weeks? Aside from the Revenge of the Sith re-release?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So for me, there hasn't been much. It's really just a continuation of what I was talking about last week. The Oblivion Remastered dropped last week, and I've been playing a lot of that. I've been playing a lot of the games on Switch still, and been drowning myself in Star Wars. That's been pretty much my week. That's taken up all of my free time, is those games and watching Andor and going to the movies.
Yeah, I can tell you, like, it's been work. It's just been work for me.
Yeah.
And because I'm basically doing 2 jobs with the air show thing.
Mm-hmm.
So by the time I get home, I'm just spent.
Yeah.
And even over the weekend, I had some stuff I had to do. So it's just like, it starts bleeding over, and I'm ready for a vacation, to be honest. But like on Thursday, I was telling you about a little bit at the theater. Like, I got back pain kind of out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
I hadn't done anything except for fucking go to work.
Right, but you've been talking about having back pain recently.
Well, yeah, but this was like intense to the point where like I should have been doing something to have this level of intensity.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just was so uncomfortable. Like I ended up going on Thursday, getting home, fucking muscle relaxers and fucking lidocaine patch, trying to get through that, and then went to work on Friday because I had to.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I wouldn't even went. I would have just fucking laid at home, trying to just rest.
Sure, yeah.
Not do anything with it. But I had to go because I had to run this fucking meeting. And yeah, it just Friday was bad, and then yesterday it actually started to feel a little bit better. But fuck me, dude. It was just, and it's purely muscular. Tried stretching and doing all this shit. Usually my back is pretty good, unless I do something dumb, which I'm prone to do.
Yes, that's very well documented.
Yeah. So, but having not done anything dumb and then have that happen was really fucking annoying.
Yeah, I would imagine.
So, and it could very well be stress related too, because I'm kind of like burning the candle at both ends a little bit. Reaching my max, reaching max Q for what I have the ability to get done at any given time. Just can't spin the plates like I used to, man.
Man, we're getting old.
Yeah, it's like walking around with back pain and just like just feeling it, feeling the agedness.
Yeah.
Of there was a fucking there was something else happened this week and I wanted to talk about. Fuck. Oh no, so I brought it up at the theater and you hadn't heard about it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm pretty sure it made national news.
Right.
That the air quote meteorite that hit that service station.
Right, which again, I'd not heard about at all.
Yeah, so a couple weeks ago it happened. So like from where we're sitting right now, it's about that direction, about 2 miles.
Yeah.
Is this little service station that there's apparently video. Well, he has video of this thing crashing through this roof and, you know, putting a hole in his roof and doing a bunch of damage to his, he has an auto shop.
Yeah.
And it's all on video. What's really interesting is that it happened. Like it happened at a rate of speed and it had a lot of kinetic energy to it.
Sure.
Enough to like, they said there was some fire related to it. Like some saw that it had like flames.
Mm-hmm. Well, it just pierced the atmosphere not too long before that. So
yeah, like the brightness of it. But a lot of people heard something before it happened. Like the sound of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like people in the neighborhood heard it. And the reason I know that is because I have a Ring door camera, right?
Yeah.
And when shit happens in the neighborhood, like within a few miles of my house, like I'll get a pop-up. Like people go into the Ring like network and they'll ask questions like, oh, hey, did you hear this? Did you lose your pet? Do whatever. And when that happened, like the sound, it was like bing, 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 a bunch of people asking like, hey, did you hear that?
Mm-hmm.
And when I woke up, I kind of like, I'm not on fire. So, okay, I went back to sleep. But when I looked at it the next day and then saw the articles, I'm like, that's what they heard. They heard that fucking thing coming through and hitting the building. And it had to have been a meteorite. It wasn't a fucking 105 millimeter howitzer coming out. Like it had to have been some, probably a meteorite.
Well,
it probably was something like that big. It doesn't have to be very big to create that much damage.
Well, what are they calling it in the news? Because you said it made headlines.
It did, but it still was listed as unidentified. So I think they were trying to, when it impacted through the roof and then got into like a workbench and it hit a toolbox and then hit the concrete.
Yeah.
So there's like all this debris field that it created. So finding the actual like pieces of whatever it was, I guess was the challenge. There's, you need some sort of sample to be able to like take the sample and see what it possibly could have been. So if it was already so small,
My penis is so smooth.
and and now it's hit a bunch of shit on its way down, who knows how much of it you're gonna get.
Right.
And it's in a fucking auto shop, which are
notoriously dirty.
Yeah, if I ran an auto shop, it'd be clean as a whistle. But this is a local place. It's a local 2-bay fucking shop.
Yeah.
Not saying it was a mess. I'm just saying, wouldn't be surprised if there was some dirt on the ground and this thing got mixed up with it. It'd be tough to isolate.
Sure.
But yeah, that fucking shit happened right over there. Right, it's within a couple miles of both of our houses.
Yeah.
This shit happened, and it went right through the fucking dude's roof. And
good thing there was nobody in there, I guess.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, like that gets me, and this is it's the conversation about how social media kind of globalizes everything.
Right. So
we hear about more like, oh, hey, we saw this meteor, or that like out in Arizona, some Ring door camera picked up a meteorite hitting, and landing.
Yeah.
We're so connected, and you can get like imagery, and so things don't seem as surprising when they happen because you see it happen on TV until it happens like within a bike ride or less of your fucking house.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, wow, that could have been my house very easily. I mean, my in-laws' apartments, the apartment they stay in is fucking like a few hundred yards from where that was.
Damn.
So, but they're in the first floor of a two floor thing, so probably wouldn't have even made it to them. But it's just remarkable for something like that. The randomness of it.
Yeah.
Because, how are you going to predict something like that?
You can't.
But to have that random act happen so close, it's just like, okay.
Yeah.
Now shit's falling out of the sky.
Our pets' heads are falling off.
Right. I'm writing 5 things and going out to oblivion every fucking week.
I can't believe they're still having you do that.
Oh, dude, it's the best. I love it. I love it every week. Every week I start and I smile and I say, I really love it. I love doing this every time.
Sounds like you love it.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, that's it. I didn't have anything else exciting except back pain.
I wouldn't call that exciting, but yeah.
Yeah,
I get it.
And looking forward to this because it was watching the fucking movie this weekend was fucking awesome.
Yeah. So, all right, you ready to get into the main topic then?
Yeah. How are we on time?
Oh, we're doing just fine on time.
Wow. Yeah, we're rolling.
All right, so let's talk some Andor Season 2. I know we've been anticipating this for quite some time now.
Yep.
And just for anybody who hasn't finished it for whatever reason, which I actually understand because, we had to like dedicate some time and like schedule it out. Like, okay, we're watching this episode on this day, this episode on this day. So yeah, I get it with the releasing 3 at a time might be difficult. So spoiler free. I really enjoyed this first part the second time I watched it because I watched it once with Kristen and then another time to take notes and everything.
Right.
And I got to say, the first time I watched it, I wasn't digging it. Like something just wasn't, clicking for me.
Mm-hmm.
And there's still one section that I still heavily dislike, even after the second viewing, which I'll get into. But overall, after the second viewing and kind of like really soaking in everything that was happening, I'm like, okay, I get this, and it was good.
Yeah. I generally I'm trending upward as well. I think we're foundation building again.
Yeah.
A little bit with especially like the first episode calling it 1 year later. Like, hey, where's everybody?
Yeah.
What's been happening in the past year?
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of have to hit those touch points in these episodes. And so that's what they're doing. And I feel like I was kind of in the same boat with Andor with season 1.
Yeah, you kind of got off to a slow start, but then once you hit that third episode, it's sort of
it's then you kind of you get it. It's like, oh wow, it's that point where it's like, wow, that was different. That's unexpected in Star Wars.
Yeah.
And,
there was a lot of unexpected stuff.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, all right, here we go. This is where the kid gloves are off and we're moving.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and one thing I will say too is after watching these 3 episodes, I do agree with them releasing the 3 at a time, because if they had only just released the first episode, I'd have been like, you know. But since we have the context of all 3 episodes together, it makes a lot more sense. And again, I'll get into some of the issues I had with these episodes, but overall, obviously it's good Star Wars stuff, so go watch it.
It didn't crash and burn. Obviously it's got to do a little bit of building to get us ready for what's going to happen. Well, we know what's going to happen here in a little bit.
Yeah.
And I really, and when it says 1 year later, like it flashes on the screen 4 BBY.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like 1 year later, 4 BBY. So we know exactly where we are.
You know exactly where we are in the timing. And I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So that's it. Let's get into spoilers.
All right. Spoiler alert for all you folks still watching or listening.
Yeah. Hang on.
What do you
I have one. I have something for this. There we go.
There you go. He's got a graphic. Very good. So, all right. So we start off with the episode 1 year later. And right out the gates, we've got Andor has already snuck into an Imperial test facility on the planet Sinar, and he's in test facility number 73.
Right.
So
Sinar is important because they're the ones who build most of the TIE fighters.
Right.
So as soon as I saw that come up, I'm like, okay. Like, obviously Dave is into this episode because TIE fighters.
Yeah. And specifically, he's trying to steal a TIE Avenger prototype.
Right.
Which, I know the first appearance was in your old X-Wing game.
My old circa 1994.
94.
94.
Not the X-Wing game, the TIE Fighter game.
Right.
You said X-Wing.
Did I say X-Wing? I meant TIE Fighter, if I did.
Yeah, X-Wing came before the TIE Fighter game, but the TIE Fighter game was the one that had it. So I tried to log in. I have the TIE Fighter game on Steam.
Mm.
It's very hard to navigate through it on Steam. I don't know what. It's a DOS-based game, right? So it was having issues trying to get through some of the navigation. So I wasn't able to get to a point where I could get and see the ships.
Yeah,
like all the TIE that was available. Right? It was this really ridiculous feedback loop of going through the initial flying and it not cooperating with the joystick, and it was very aggravating. So it's a little disappointing.
Yeah. Now, do you get to fly the TIE Avenger in that game?
You can. There's a point where you do fly it. So like in that TIE Fighter game, it has like this whole. It's, I guess, a story, if you will, like, but it has all these mission sets.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, you're in this tie, you're gonna fly these escort missions. You have to fly this many escort missions, and then you can promote into do these missions. And then when you do those missions, you promote and you get into this. And the interceptor is one of the things you promote into. Then there's like the Avenger, and then the Defender. I think that's the penultimate tie that you get into is the tie Defender.
Okay. Yeah, and this TIE Avenger is also what they based Kylo Ren's ship off of in episodes 8 and 9. You know, his ship that he has that looks like a TIE Avenger.
It does. Except his is in black because he only works in black or dark gray. And what I liked more about this presentation, this TIE Avenger, than Kylo Ren's, besides the color, is the windscreen. It has the traditional Sinar windscreen,
right?
TIE windscreen.
Yeah, and I loved the whole aesthetic of the hangar that it was in. It reminds me of those sanitized rooms that you see when they're building like the James Webb telescope and all that. It seems like a very, just a very stale sanitized room.
Right.
It's all white, almost looks like an Apple store. But I really loved just that whole thing because again, this is an experimental aircraft at this point.
Yeah, you go in this particular hangar is dedicated to it. All the test equipment that it's probably connected to, and it's going to have. Let me talk for a second about test aircraft and capability, because I've seen some things online that people are like, "How this thing had so much capability that we don't see later in any of these other TIE fighters." And there's like, well, why is it here and not there?
It's probably a cost thing.
This is a test bed, right? They're testing out this weapon system, and there's elements of this TIE that are in the production models, right? So this is a non-production model aircraft. There's going to be one-offs, right? We Jason and I both, we came from a world where a lot of stuff was one-off.
Yeah. And
you'd go and you'd test it and be like, okay, boop, here's 2 of the things that are only unique to this thing. And that's it. Like, there's no fucking production model of this particular thing because it only exists in here. So when you're sitting and you're looking, it's like, oh, wow, that TIE fighter has like crew compartment in the back. It has space for all these people, whereas a regular TIE doesn't have any space. It's only a single seat, or the first order one has the gunner in the back, right?
Yeah.
But this one has like fucking jump seats in the back, and a ramp that comes down, and it just seems so different. But the timing of it seems like it's in a time where it's far more advanced than the TIEs that are out there.
Sure.
But test being what it is, like, hey, this would be cool. Throw it on there. Let's see if it fucking works.
Yeah.
And then you just go with it. It's, why do certain ships, one of the things in a TIE fighter game you encounter, which ships had access to be able to get to hyperspace, which didn't, right? Standard TIE, no hyperdrive.
Right.
They were fucking throwaway fighters. It's like, okay, you come off the fucking rack, you go fly and fight, and if you can make it back, awesome. But we don't expect you to.
Yeah.
So that's what they're meant to be dumped off the rack. The interceptor is meant has a little bit more survivability. But then you have the TIE Advanced, which has a hyperdrive, and it has the more defense measures that are installed in it. Like all the, as you get further away from the interceptors and just the standard ties, you're increasing in your capability, but you're also getting smaller amounts because they're more advanced. It's the F-22 to the F-15, F-16.
Sure, yeah.
You know, here's your 5th gen fighter versus your 4th gen and 3rd gen fighter.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, and again, it's a test. Maybe in theory, it's got a whole bunch of new looking doodads and gadgets and whatnot, but they may not work out in the long run.
Yeah,
that's why they're testing them.
Right.
Plus, cost is an issue. If these are so much more advanced, you can't just assembly line them like normal TIE fighters and just like push them out by the thousands. If they cost a lot more.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you couldn't possibly have this level of armament on a production model. You just couldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
especially given how many times he slammed into mountainsides and inside the hangar.
This thing is made out of fucking titanium. It's like, what the fuck?
So we're still on the first line of my notes. At this point, Andor is in cahoots with this crew chief that's assigned to the aircraft.
Right.
She's in there doing preparations and stuff and comes out, and they have this really good back and forth inside like a break room where, she's kind of having her doubts and she's like, oh, this is it. My life is changing forever because of this.
Right.
And he's got to kind of like talk her not really talk her into it, but, keep her level and be like, look, no matter what, we're doing this for the greater good and, all that stuff. And,
it's a good, it's showing his maturity, like right from the jump, it's showing his maturity as a rebel fighter because he's able to, like, hey, this person was recruited, not necessarily by him, but this is somebody that's part of the cause, and he's able to commune with them in such a way that they know that can better understand their role in this rebellion.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, he's got to deal with his own shit internally, like how he feels about it, but he's not projecting on that. He's, hey, this is what this person needs to hear.
Yeah, even though he's going into a very difficult situation that he might not get out of.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So,
which, oh my God, I want that TIE pilot uniform too.
Oh yeah,
that test uniform that he's wearing with that fucking helmet. If that comes out in a Black Series figure, it is mine.
That would be a pretty sweet figure, like Andor with the helmet, the removable helmet and everything.
Yes.
So there's a little bit of humor to start this scene off because he's getting in there, he's getting ready and everything. He's like, okay. He opens the hangar doors. Sorry, all right, let's do this. Boom! Pushes the throttle or pushes the something forward, the throttle or whatever, and he immediately slams backwards because I guess they threw the old inverted controls on him.
Yeah.
So right from the get go, he's like, yeah, boom!
Right.
Just goes right to the back of the hangar and slams against the wall.
Because we come to find out later that this wasn't the aircraft he was trained on.
Right.
For this mission. Like, he jumps in there, is like, what the fuck is this?
Mm-hmm.
So he's figuring it out as he goes.
Yep. Yeah, and he yells out one of his.
Sorry.
You good?
Yeah. Jesus.
One of his first lines of dialogue is "shit" when he does that. I'm like, okay, we're doing that again.
Yeah. Here's our there it is. There's the one.
Yep. Or is it going to be just one?
I don't know.
We'll see.
We only got one last season, so
yeah, maybe we get one obligatory shit.
That's it.
Yeah,
one turd Ferguson right there. That's it.
And yeah, he's struggling to pilot this thing, which I'm like, good, because he's not supposed to know how to fly this thing because it's this fresh experimental plane. But when we find out later in the series that he was trained on something else,
right?
After all of this and he gets out of the hangar, we move over to Mina Rao, which is what I like to call Planet Wheat, because we've got our desert planets, we got our ice planets, and now we've got our wheat planet.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where Bix, Brasso, and that kid whose name I can never remember are staying. The ones that survived.
The terrorist kid?
Yeah, the ones that survived last season are now there with Cassian. Well, not with him at this point, but that's where they're all staying.
Right. They're homesteading there.
Exactly. So, and we hop right into a dream that Bix is having. Now, I didn't have time to go back and confirm this or not, but in this dream she had, there was, this Imperial guy walks in front of a mirror at one point.
Mm-hmm.
And is that the fucking scientist that did the headphone thing with her?
Yeah.
Okay, that's definitely him.
Yeah.
Okay, I kind of figured. And then he yanks off her blanket, and then she wakes up screaming.
Right.
It's a little PTSD still.
Yeah. As you can imagine, one would.
Yeah. So yeah, that happened. So we get a little bit there. Then we move over to Chandrila, where Mon Mothma's daughter is now getting married.
Right.
She takes her friends in. You see the fucking wedding dress, so we know, okay, 1 year later, after being introduced to this crime lord's kid, now they're about to get married. Yeah. I don't think he's a crime lord. I think he's just a shady,
a banker.
Yeah, like a shady banker. Probably does a lot of illegal stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Isn't that what most bankers are? I mean, it's they're bad guys, I guess.
Yeah.
What are there still bankers in the world? What is a banker?
Because the banks are all corporations now.
Right. So when you go into a bank, there's no bankers around.
Yeah.
The person the teller at the window is not a banker.
No.
The person sitting at the desk is a glorified teller.
Mm-hmm.
Right. All they're doing is opening an account or whatever.
Yeah, processing loans, things like that.
They're not even bankers. Can they even do that? Can they process loans and shit? I've never done that in a bank before.
I would imagine.
I'd be curious if you could actually walk into a TD bank and go through that whole process.
Be I'd like a loan for $10,000, please.
Right.
I would imagine. Well, we should try it out. I'll go. I was talking about possibly opening up a White Castle franchise here in Cherry Hill.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, we were joking about it the other day.
Hey, which you need to get Harold and Kumar on board.
Oh yeah, no, we'd have to do a big opening thing, and we'd have to have those actors there to see the Cherry Hill White Castle open up.
I'm shocked that there isn't one, to be honest.
Yeah.
It just seems like it's a lost opportunity.
I know. I mean, they've opened up a bunch of other shite out here that never seems to last. How many fucking Checkers have they thrown up and then immediately gone out of business?
Well, it can't compete with, the big ones. Yeah,
but White Castle is its own little
White Castle
thing.
is its own niche.
Yeah,
it really is.
And now that the dispensaries and everything, all that shit's legal now in Jersey. You would think that would go hand in hand with fucking White Castle. You'd be
right,
fucking open up next to a dispensary.
Right, come on, man, let's go get some White Castle, man.
I'm telling you,
it would totally work.
So yeah, that's what we were joking about, opening up a franchise here in Cherry Hill. But I digress. So yeah, maybe I could go into a bank and just ask for, give me a loan, please, for a small business.
And there go. We don't do that here.
Yeah.
Aren't you the bank? What exactly would you say you do here?
They're just regular employees.
Hey, sidebar. Since we know we actually have some people in the chat, at least a couple people.
Yeah.
We were part of the Sacred Jedi card catalog, and we were talking about the novelizations, movie novelizations, and whether or not we can consider that canon,
right?
The novelization itself. I want to put that out to the audience,
because from what I recall, something like Rise of Skywalker had quite a few scenes in it and lines of dialogue in it that weren't in the movie that could potentially change things.
Yeah, same thing with Last Jedi.
Yeah,
it was different.
So something to keep in mind.
So I just from a general standpoint, last week we talked a little bit because I I bought the paperback version to complete my set of the OG, original publishing of the original trilogy.
Uh-huh.
The paperbacks anyway. And there's stuff in there that's, first, it's not really 100% of the movie. So how much of that can we really consider canon?
I don't know.
It's tough, right? So I'm just curious, like, when we're making the Sacred Jedi card catalog and we have to categorize it, do we just call it the movie novelization, or do we?
Well, I would like to think that everything that's been put out since the buyout is canon for sure. The novelization of the sequel trilogy and anything else that they've put out, but I wouldn't 100% say for any of the other movies. That's just me.
I don't know.
But
yeah, why wouldn't, like, Phantom Menace, for example?
I don't know. Well, let's call up Pablo Hidalgo and be like, "Hey, we need an answer on something."
Yeah, but they dick those guys over. I feel bad for those guys because we haven't done comics in a while, and I'm way, way, way off from being anywhere near that fucking sphere of influence.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like they kind of got punched in the dick with some of the Ahsoka stuff that came out. Like, oh, we're gonna pull Thrawn back into this fucking into basically OG canon.
Yeah,
and I don't know. That wasn't the discussion I was trying to have. It's just, do the movie novelizations count
as canon?
As canon. Bix is still smoking on it. I would agree.
Oh yeah, don't worry, we're gonna get to that.
Yeah, and Mothma is too. I mean, she fucking looks good in this whole thing.
Yeah, I wouldn't pass her up.
Yeah, especially dancing. we need that drop. We do got to work on that.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, yeah, we're on Chandrila and everybody's gathering for the wedding. Like Mon Mothma's, we got this long shot of Mon Mothma walking, through this area where all the people are landing and coming in,
right.
And she's
working the crowd.
Yeah, she's greeting everybody that's coming through. Oh, Senator, good to see you. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Comes across her cousin at one point. And she's like, "Did you see who just showed up?" And sure enough, it was Luthen, who showed up, and he's apparently friends with what's his name. Hold on, I wrote the guy's name down. Skolden is the father of the groom,
right?
Who might be a shady banker, but yeah, apparently him and Luthen are tight, and they came together for a wedding gift, which we'll maybe talk about later.
Right.
But yeah, it just seeing the stress on Mon Mothma, like she was already feeling, and then when Luthen shows up, she's like, "What the fuck? Like what are you doing here?
I don't need these worlds colliding right now."
Exactly. So then we go back to Mina Rao, and in my notes I have it: Planet Wheat, Bix is back to being hot.
Yep. Well, I mean, she's gotten a shower.
Yeah.
So that helps.
Yeah, but she's acting normal too. She's like messing with the kid, the terrorist kid.
Right.
Because this other girl, this local, likes him, right. And they're
some redhead likes him.
Yeah. So she's giving him shit, and she's just being normal, which is nice, because I wasn't sure how she was going to be this season, if she was going to be all fucked up in the head still,
right.
After what happened last season.
From
but
like the almost like the Gorgula or whatever.
Yeah.
Gorgulets.
And then while they're talking, the Empire shows up in a non-Empire ship. It was a very interesting looking craft.
It was like I immediately thought drop ship.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's accurate to what it actually was, but like drop ship is what came to my mind.
Okay.
And yeah, whatever that means.
So after this, we get into my least favorite part of all of these 3 episodes, And that's when Andor gets captured by this group of kind of rebels. We never really clearly got a full description of like exactly who they were and what they were doing. And I hated this whole fucking sequence. Like every time we went back to Andor and these fucking schmucks, like I couldn't stand it. It was annoying. To the point where I didn't make notes. Anytime we flashed over to Andor and those guys, I just fucking fast forwarded it on the second time I watched this.
Yeah, so there's got to be some reason. I think what they were trying to tell us was in this game that the rebellion is playing, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, the intent was, hey, the mission is we're going to infill, or inject you into this system as a training or a test pilot.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to abscond one of these aircraft, then you're going to exchange that aircraft with an intermediary who's then going to take it somewhere else.
Yeah, which I get all
Right.
that. That makes sense.
But because there's so many moving parts to this, and when that person showed up to this planet where they're going to do the drop or do the exchange,
Mm-hmm.
it just so happens that there's these fucking the Lost Boys are starving. They've just, it's grown up Lost Boys, and they're starving. They're fighting each other, and they're like, apparently the person that Cassian was supposed to turn the plane over to was a little abrasive.
Yeah.
So they're like, we don't like that, and we're going to kill you.
Yeah. So he's no longer with us.
Right. So they kill that guy, and then when Cassian shows up, they fucking take him too. But they kept him alive there was too much. It went too long.
Yes, I 100% agree.
I think it went too long. I got the point. I got what they were trying to get at, but there was just too much of this, like the rock paper scissors game.
Yeah, like what the hell was that?
I like, okay, you can have some sort of tribal thing, and that obviously had some important meaning. Cool.
Yeah.
But what the fuck does that mean? Like it just, it wasn't necessary.
Right. Yeah, because you wasted Cassian for 2 full episodes with this.
Yeah. And you know what? We like I said before, we were in moments like this in season 1, and it worked out.
Yeah.
But they're all right. Just, this isn't a campy. It's not meant to be a campy fucking thing. Like, as part of that group, when they're fucking, going after each other in the no man's land there, and fucking grab somebody's boot and it's still got a leg in it. I mean, this isn't a campy show.
Yeah.
Like, it's not meant to be that way. Like, so we don't need to be playing rock, paper, scissors as a fucking thing,
Right.
If you're going to, like, do some sort of pirate game, like you're going to Rochambeau somebody, like, make it to the death. Like, it just was so fucking weird.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Cassian, honestly, I mean, if it were us in that scenario, I'm pretty sure we would have gotten those fucking cuffs open. Like, you give us enough time, we would have got those fucking cuffs open.
Yeah, because they were too busy fighting with each other.
Yeah. Like, there's plenty of shit around where he was, especially when they put him in that other ship. There, that he could have fucking, got a sliver of something and fucking got those cuffs open.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have been, it wouldn't have been like, oh no, that's impossible. He wouldn't have been able to do that. Yeah, you would.
So from here on out, I don't have any more notes on that storyline. So if anything from that jogs your memory that you wanted to talk about, by all means. But otherwise, I am not coming back to this whole Cassian and the Lost Boys storyline.
There was the line where he said, you know, it's not as easy as it looks. After they basically find a button for the Gatling guns and they're like, "Brah!" and start shooting into the fucking woods.
Mm-hmm.
And Cassian's just like, yeah, it's not as easy as you think it is. I thought that was it was actually pretty fucking funny.
Yeah, no, I get that. We then go to a secret meeting that is happening with Director Krennic.
Yes.
And some members of the ISB and some other interested parties.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, Krennic introduces this is like a closed circle. This is no notes, no acknowledgement of anything that we're about to talk about. This is classified at the highest level. Everyone in this room is the only person that has a need to know,
right?
Kind of thing. And they talk about this. Well,
here's your NDAs.
Yeah, exactly.
Handing out a bunch of NDAs.
Yep. And they play this video that plays like some old timey video that's like promoting, like a tourist place or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's talking about this planet Gorman.
With spiders. With the spiders that make fucking clothes or something.
Yeah, that
shit.
makes all kinds of like silk and everything.
Yep.
Not calcite. Calcite is the metal that's on the planet as well.
That's the shit that they want.
Yeah. And Krennic's going on about like how the Emperor has declared that we want to be energy independent.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, that
sounds familiar.
Yeah. So he's talking about energy independence and, getting a hold of this calcite from Gorman is a big part of that. So, and he brought all those people together basically to ask him like, okay, how are we going to do this? Like, what's the best path forward that you can think of? And specifically, he isolates Deidre Miro, who's there with her boss from the ISB. And he, kind of pulls her aside and is like, I specifically requested you. I've been following you. I know about your career, and I want your specific inputs on this.
Even though the shit that went down at the
Ferrix.
Yeah. It's almost like they're using that as leverage against her.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
To get her to work in this particular program, which is interesting. Too realistic. What I love about what they're doing with the ISB stuff is there is such an element of like, here's this internal like bureaucracy of a kind of the military industrial complex that's not the correct term. Like, it's more a militaristic type structure where you have like, okay, here's these senior leaders. Yeah, okay, we push these people into this thing. I want this person to work this. I'm going to leverage their failure against them to do this. And then like, these are the ways that you get people to do things.
Yeah. Motivation.
Like, right. And here's these 3 people that do everything because they're the ones that are always here. Like, so the same 3 people do 8 people's work, which that doesn't happen.
No, never. Especially not in any kind of military environment.
So it strikes me a lot of times with the ISB stuff where it's like, just like, wow, this is not like fictional. It really feels like okay, this shit can happen. So when she's approached, it just the whole fucking thing with the calcite, just I'm like, they've got these people in a room, but this is some sort of test to me. Like, they're not really, this isn't the goal.
Right.
Even the calcite's not even the goal. Like, there's a bigger objective here, which I think ends up being the fucking Kyber.
Oh.
Right? Because I was expecting them to be talking about the Kyber, like when they're talking about this planet and they, these people. I was expecting the conversation to open. I was like, oh yeah, but they got fucking Kyber floating around in the fucking water.
Right.
But they talk about something else, and I'm like, okay, I think that's what this is. I think this is hey, we're trying to see who we can have in the program for the Death Star So this is kind of how we're doing it.
Oh, because I thought he mentioned at one point that the calcite would be the like the casing for the reactor, and I don't know if he was
Sure.
referring to the Death Star or.
I mean, he could have been, but I don't know that everyone in that room was briefed on the Death Star.
No, I would imagine not.
So it just struck me as like, okay, everyone in this room is being tested to see like this particular element of like, okay, here's this mission.
Mhm.
Like this mission doesn't warrant this level of secrecy. Right.
Right.
So why are we overclassifying something, or which oh no, that doesn't happen either. Are we overclassifying it, or am I using this to figure out who can I trust enough to put on the Death Star project?
Right. And according to Dedra's boss, the guy that we know from last season, when they have their conversation, I think it's in the next episode, where he's basically telling her like, no, you were handpicked and you are taking this assignment. You don't really get a choice
Right.
in the matter, but it makes me wonder if this is all based on her, because Krennic specifically asked for her when he cornered her after the briefing. He's like, I want to know what your analysis is.
Right.
You had a plan in your head before I finished talking, so I want to hear it.
Right.
So yeah, maybe it's all just a test for her.
Yeah, I think she's an up and comer, and I don't think she lives through this either. Yeah, she's going to be on the wrong side of this.
Probably. Yeah, because she's still, well, we'll get to it when we get to it, but she's still concerned about Axis.
Mm-hmm.
So we go back to Mina Rao, and we find out that the Imperials are there for an inspection, and they're checking everybody's visas.
Right.
Which, again, sounds a little too close
like,
to...
what is happening right now?
Yeah. In a later episode, they're referred to as illegals. It's like, okay, guys, I think we get it.
Yes, we hear what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need this shoved in our face quite so much, but look. Regardless of the current events, they left their situation where they were to find some place to be, and most likely are there illegally.
Yeah.
Right. So. The Empire, like we've already established the chain code thing.
Yeah.
And like so we're not just having a political statement just for the sake of having it.
No,
there's actually some validity.
Yeah, it's tied into all the rest of the canon and everything. No, I get it. It's just that.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily feel forced, but it kind of does.
Yeah, I didn't get the idea that it was forced. I just felt like it was. Like, oh yeah, there was a handful of things where I felt like, man, it hits notes of current events.
Oh, and I'm sure that's intentional.
Yeah.
I'm sure that was 100% intentional. So, but anyway, after that, we go back to Chandrila, and we have the first of like 5 parties that happen on Chandrila over these first 3 episodes.
Yeah. This is the other half living.
Yeah. And Tay, Mon Mothma's friend, the guy who was running her foundations, helping her funnel money into the rebellion, he lets her know that basically business has been bad for him. He, because of was this that conversation, or was it in the next episode?
Well, he alludes to.
Well, he mentions how his wife left him.
Right.
He mentions how he's had some bad business investments recently. But yeah, I don't think this is the conversation he had with her. But we're getting led into that.
Right.
And he's trying to get there, but then Mon Mothma gets pulled aside again when her daughter fucking has a hissy fit and storms out. So she's got to go run after her.
Right. Has a pre-wedding meltdown.
Yeah, which, it's about right.
So, all right. Tay, there's obviously some underlying story where Tay is believed to be having an affair with Mon Mothma. right? Because even her husband with that conversation,
Yeah, which that's in like the 3rd episode.
right? Is that's in the beginning of the 3rd episode? That's right, because they're
Yeah.
like setting up for breakfast or some shit.
Yeah,
like
yeah, and he's like, "Oh, I just assumed you were lovers or something like
that.
that."
Right, and he was like being a real dick about it.
Mm-hmm. But that conversation was a great tie-in to the book that we read. So if you take nothing else away from the book, it's that the nature of the relationship between Mon Mothma and her husband.
Right. So it was informative for sure.
Yeah.
And I think he was being set up like from the beginning, like the bad business moves or whatever. Like obviously why was old boy there to fucking for the statue? Like he didn't need to be there. Right? For the wedding gift.
Sure. Yeah.
What's his name?
Luthen.
Luthen. Why was Luthen there? Right? Was Luthen there because of just to keep an eye on what was going on, or was Luthen there because Tay has been a little bit too loose?
Yeah, that
right?
very well could be.
Right? He's basically running some internal security, where it's like, hey, this guy. Right, he's starting to spend more money than he has. His wife just left him. Like, there's problems. Like, where have we heard this before?
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah,
he identified him as a risk.
Right. So, Luthen shows up to this thing, and even spooks Mon Mothma a little bit about it.
Oh yeah,
and ultimately, we get to the conclusion of what happens, but. Who put Tay in that position? Like, how did that come about? Because what I thought about was from the book rather, when there was strings being pulled to try and set Mon Mothma up.
Yeah.
What is this something similar? Like Tay was involved, or Tay was ruined basically, and he did secretly want to have that relationship. So when people were saying it out loud, or maybe saying they were going to spread it, like it was something he was trying to speak into existence or something like that.
Right, because I kind of had that thought when he's talking to her in the next episode, and he, lays down the number that they keep referring to.
Right.
Where in my mind, that number was he wants some of that fire crotch.
Yeah, he wants 8675309.
Yeah, he's dialing up Jenny, and he wants he wants a piece of that ass. He's not looking for a number. He's looking for, he's that Mon Mothma booty.
Yeah, he's been pining over it for a while, and she hasn't been putting out.
Yep.
And
so he had to take it to the next level, basically.
Yeah. And ruin himself because of it.
Well, yeah, definitely. So, but anyway, that's all.
And there's murder.
Yes, lots of murder. But the episode closes out with Andor in prison with the lackeys, and it's when the dude shoots that chick right in the chest because she's antagonizing him, calling him a bitch or something like that, and he's like, "Say it one more time." She's like, "Yo, a bitch," and then boom, shoots her right in the chest.
Yeah, so they're like, I guess when you're starving, you fucking shit like that happens.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure they weren't that far from cannibalism at that point.
They went from fuck around to find out. That's
so for my notes for the start of season for episode 2, it's just Andor's stupid story, and then I go to the next bullet point because it started off with the with those guys again.
Oh yeah,
I think that was the part where they found the foot or whatever. But then we go back to the ISB headquarters, and this is where Deidre mentions to her boss, like, she doesn't want Gorman. And he's like, look, Gorman is a gift.
Right.
Krennic is the only one who's going to be above you, and he's going to be too busy with other stuff. He's giving you this world to run as you please. And basically told her it's not an option.
Right. This is yours to fuck up. So don't fuck it up.
Yep.
And what was interesting, I don't think it should be lost that he was very conscious of the environment they were in to not be overheard.
Right.
Like he moved in close, talked, like even though they were in this huge public area,
Mm-hmm.
and they're the ISB, right? It's like the CIA, like they know everyone's listening.
Yeah.
So, and he's one of the senior guys in the ISB. Who's he worried about listening to him?
Yeah.
Right. There's always
everybody's got to have somebody above them.
right. Exactly. So he's like, he knows there's a level of manipulation happening, and he's like leaning in to talk to her, even though they're in this wide open space. So I just felt like even in the room, the supervisor was like, there was a level of reservation that he had.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he did participate, he participated in a very, like, this broad overview of a way.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it has any relevance at all, but
it's interesting. And, you know, the stuff they do with the ISB is just so fascinating.
yeah.
Like I could watch a show about just that, you know, just the inner workings of the ISB. And
I want all the things they have on the walls.
yes,
Like
all those clean Imperial logos.
Yeah.
And
holy shit, man. If there's any of that shit, like just on a sound studio laying around somewhere, like, and they even think about throwing that shit away, man. Oh my fucking God.
we got to
I'd
do
die.
some Mission Impossible stuff.
Yeah. I will definitely, I'll hang from the ceiling and fucking steal some of that shit.
Yeah. So this is the part where Perrin accuses Mon of boning Tay, basically.
Right.
He just kind of assumes he's like, oh, your boyfriend was having quite a night last night. And she's like, who's my boyfriend? He's like, Tay, I assumed you two were lovers.
Right.
So yeah, that's where that whole thing comes from. And, you know, Perrin is mentioning how Tay basically got royally fucked up last night, had to be carried back to his room.
Right.
And he kind of mentioned something about how, you know, he was only born like 4 classes below us. He should know better. Something to that effect.
Right.
Well,
I mean, class is everything.
yeah.
You know, in this structure. So like, I think it was in the book we just did, or it talked about the classes as it was in Coruscant.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, all right, at this level, you know, people that were on this living on this level. Did we just read that?
I'm not sure.
Fuck. But anyway, class is a big deal. Like, hey, this person came from this class. Like, so are they kicking out, you know, are they kicking away from their coverage basically to interact with those people?
Yeah. And Luthen even mentions when he's talking to Mon about Tay that, you know, oh, he's hurting for money. And then he's here at this wedding watching you guys, you know,
right,
do your thing, live the lap of luxury.
Yeah. Because obviously this is not the entire wedding, like even the courtship and everything else, like is obviously hearkening back to something that in Chandrillan customs
Mm-hmm.
was something that had not been done for a while.
Yeah.
So this was her daughter wanting to do something of the old ways.
Yeah.
So the wedding ceremony and all the things that were done, like I don't think it's this episode. Maybe it's next episode when they're actually
hiking up the.
Yeah, they're going for the hike and then, you know, doing that nonsense, and then they're going to fucking there's this whole thing that they're doing for the wedding ceremony where they're at the door and it's like, oh, there's a maiden here that's ready to fucking get banged or whatever they say.
Yeah.
That's so there's all this like ceremony.
Mm-hmm.
And you get the impression, I'd really love to know more about the Chandrillan, like their society, right? And why, like, Mon Mothma as a senator, like, how does her wealth, like, how did she get to this point where she's in this, like, in that upper class?
Sure, yeah.
Right? To represent her people.
Well, you go and look at a modern example, and most of the fucking senators in this country are all fucking multimillionaires. So,
Yeah.
I'm sure they also have lavish weddings when their kids get married. And though this Chandra wedding looked fucking expensive. Holy hell. You try and do this in the real world, you'll be at a couple mil.
Well, and she probably was looking at it as like, hey, I'm trying to cover up spending a shit ton of money anyway, so this wedding is fucking perfect for that.
Right.
Let's move some fucking cash around while I have the chance.
Yeah, no, that's a very good point. So anyway, yeah, that happened this episode. We go over to the Bureau of Standards.
Yes.
Where Cyril Karn is there, and now he's like a supervisor.
Right.
Now he's showing the new guy around the same way he was shown around when he got shamed into doing that job in the first place.
Right.
And, he goes on this long diatribe about how he uncovered some massive underground, Imperial, these guys buying up Imperial supplies or stealing Imperial supplies in like 4 different systems. But he was very dedicated to his cause. As we picked up last season, and he's still doing that.
Yep.
And now he's higher up in this Bureau of Standards. Going back to Bix and crew, the lieutenant fucking shows up. The lieutenant who's in charge of this audit that they're doing shows up at her the place where she was working and starts like heavily creeping on her.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like right from the get-go.
Just gross. Just gross.
Yeah, and then he asks her, "Oh, would you like to go and go to the city with me and have a nice meal?" And
yeah, she's like, "Oh, my husband probably wouldn't appreciate that."
Yeah, and but even after that, he's still like creeping up closer to her, and mentions like, "Oh, does your husband ever worry about you?" And you could see some shit was about to go down here.
There was so much foreshadowing that like something really bad was going to happen with this dude.
And I think this is where Brasso shows up and kind of breaks it up a little bit, just by his presence. He didn't actually interfere at all.
Right. They didn't blow their cover or anything like that. There was no like violence. It was just he showed up and it just kind of de-escalated from that point.
Yeah.
She was still her cover was still good. It was just like super, super tense. And the dude was being a sexual predator for fuck's sake. So it's a tense situation in any situation.
I was about to say something so wrong. I should probably keep it to myself.
Is it worse than running a train on the clones running a train on a dead Jedi?
Probably.
Oh, okay. Well then, I mean, save it for when she's actually getting ready to get raped.
Okay. Well, we'll get there. Though it's only going to be worse then. We finally find out what the aftermath of
just because I'm dressed this way.
What we find out in the aftermath of Dedra and Cyril is we find out that they're now actually living together, and they're in some sort of a weird imperial relationship.
Yeah, it's a relationship. I don't know what to call it. It's
very strange.
Yeah, it's the next episode where
she talks to the mom.
When she talks to the mom is just fucking hilarious. But first of all, how they're dressed, right? And my immediate reaction was, "This is the part of Sprockets where we dance." I was like, "What are they wearing?" Like he's shopping and he comes back and she's like, I'm like, what is happening right now?
Yeah,
like.
But did you notice how stale the apartment was too? Again, Apple Store clean.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like all white.
Oh, it's obviously her place.
Right. But he falls right into it based on what we know about him.
Right.
He kind of falls right into that same.
Sure. He's like, okay, putting the chopsticks on the plate and he fucking, this is a
it
little
was
crooked.
So
he fixes it. Yeah. And obviously she has a little bit. What's it called? What's the syndrome called where you get rescued?
Oh, it's not Oedipus, is it?
No. That's a mother thing.
Oh, okay. Well, we get into the mother stuff next episode, but yeah, no, I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's a fuck.
It's not the Florence Nightingale effect. That's a nurse bringing somebody back to health.
Oh, no.
I know what you mean, though.
Yeah, somebody in the chat.
Tragic experience brings people together.
Right. It's anyway. I know it's out there.
Yeah. But yeah, it's funny seeing them together and being in this environment, to where they're not like lovey-dovey. They're not, a typical couple by any stretch.
Right.
But it seems to work for both of them.
Well, and the big thing is, I think for her, this is what's the ulterior motive, right? Why is she having this Nightingale effect or whatever thing that we're not remembering, notwithstanding? I think it's more about the it's Axis, right? They both have a shared thing. They want to find out where Axis is.
Oh,
so
yeah.
While they're living together, that's the goal.
Mm-hmm.
Like for him, it's like, okay, this is kind of like being in a relationship. For her, it's like, okay, I'm going to utilize this scenario to gain an advantage to be able to get to my ultimate goal.
Right.
Right. For her, this is how this operation works. And he probably doesn't understand what kind of role he's playing in it. He's probably just feels like, oh, I'm the knight in shining armor and I saved her. That's why she wants me to be here.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, she's probably, I need to get to Axis. He's the person that's been closest to it. I need him to be around and not fucking get himself killed by doing something dumb. So go do your fucking job. Show up to fucking work. Call your mom twice a month, and fucking and go sleep in that bed over there. Don't touch me.
So you don't think she's into it for the relationship at all?
No.
Okay.
I don't.
Guess we'll have to find out.
I think she's. I think she's. I was gonna say she's barren, but I don't. Like, she's just cold.
Right.
I think she's closed for business.
I don't know. I think every woman deep down really just needs some good dicking.
I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying for her, I don't think she's even thinking about his penis.
Okay.
My penis is smooth.
Which it probably is. Okay. So we'll have to see as the episodes go on what the dynamic of this relationship really is.
Right.
Now the next scene is the one where Tay actually holds up Mon Mothma for money, essentially. He has that long speech about how the rebellion has cost him so much and everybody else has come up on the better side of, the exchange of him helping her with their money and everything, except for himself. Right. So, and that's when he insinuates to me again. It still insinuates to me that he wanted that pussy, but
right.
They think he wants money. Either way.
Yeah, well, I mean, either way, it's a compromising situation.
Yeah,
and he's going to not live to regret it.
Yeah, because Luthen, the whole time that she's talking to him, Luthen's like eyeballing him and can tell like something's fucking off. And
yeah. Look, I'm telling you more where I think about it, the more I believe that the Luthen's primary purpose for being there was this guy.
Mm-hmm.
And so much so that he brought somebody with him as hey, I might need you to go into character to do some work.
Oh, Senta. Yeah.
Yeah. I might need you to go fucking change into some whatever to go do some work.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
Do some wet work.
That's so do you think maybe he went into it still with the possibility that the guys can be trusted, or
I think he went into it trying to. It's one of those deals where you go into it. It's like, okay, I want to see. Like, I have an idea how bad this has gotten. I want information. I think he was getting information to see like how bad this really is.
Right.
And then see if Mon Mothma is compromised.
Yeah.
Because if she was, then now he's got two things he's got to take care of.
Yeah, two loose threads.
Right. So he's very methodical in that way. It was like, okay, this person needs to, just like he was trying to take out Cassian.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, that person needs to go. If that person's now shows any level of compromise, then that person's going to have to go. And I'm going to see who that person interacts with and make sure that I'm not getting a second or third order effect from that guy. So I'm going to let him see where he goes next.
Mm-hmm.
See what donut shop he goes to, see if he fucking gets a dead drop somewhere or whatever. And then I'll take him out.
Okay.
Once I've gotten that information.
That makes sense. I could get behind that. Then we get back to some more wedding ceremony. Perrin gives this long speech. And then we go back to Andor, where at the end of this episode is when he finally gets away from all those fucking Nimrods, and gets back the TIE Avenger and flies off.
Just takes off.
Yep.
And hopefully we'll never see his kids again.
Yeah, here's hoping. But something tells me they put them in there for a reason. So we'll see.
I don't know. I mean, there's just more people we'd have to kill later.
Yeah. Oh, and something that I didn't mention, but Clea, the Luthen's secretary gal,
right?
Who's really deep into this rebellion thing too.
Oh yeah,
she was there with him the whole time on Chandra-La, and he's trying to get information back from Andor. Is like, okay, what happened with the heist?
Right.
Where is he? Did everything go according to plan? And she's like, I don't know. I don't have good comms here. So if you want me to start making some real calls, I got to get out of here and go do it from our office.
Right.
So, and at the end of the second episode, she leaves there.
Yeah, she's like, all right, this is...
Because she seems concerned.
You got to get a fucking ride.
Yeah.
You got to get a ride home.
Yeah.
And he's probably is going to get a ride home. He'll probably take Tay's ride.
Right.
Since he's not going to need it.
Yeah.
Probably meet him like at the shuttle he's getting dropped off at, and then let them take off, then kill him. The shuttle continues outbound.
Mm-hmm.
Dump the body into space. Yeah, I can see it.
Yep. So moving into the third episode,
have I thought about that?
It starts off with Andor in the TIE Avenger, and he's just kind of adrift. You can just see kind of floating sideways through space, and he's back there like trying to hotwire it. And then,
well, so he has one of the things that he did is that is important to talk about. He grabbed this radio set from the other aircraft, that spacecraft that he's, I guess, was, hey, this is the secret comm.
Yeah,
right.
Because that was supposed to be his ship that he
Right.
was leaving on.
So he got that set up, and when he got back onto the TIE, he's trying to get that setup connected to the TIE's comms, so that he's able to use that to transmit. So that's what I think the wiring is.
Well, but what happens is he gets to a certain point where he connects them, and then the ship fires up and just goes into this like spinning barrel roll.
Oh yeah,
like over and over. That we cut away from eventually. And when he gets a hold of what's her name, Clea, later on, he's like, I've been upside down for 2 days, which I'm assuming he means the ship was upside down.
Yeah,
as he was floating through space. And
no, I don't. I actually think that upside down means that he was basically compromised from his, like, he was captured.
Mm-hmm.
So talk about being upside down. I think that's was code for being captured.
Ah, gotcha.
That's how I took it. But since we did have that actual visualization, then I guess it could be that as well.
Yeah.
But when I heard him say it, I thought it was captured.
Okay.
Why does my brain go there and not where do normal people, what do normal people think about?
Well, when he was having that conversation with her over the radio, they were kind of coding.
Code.
They
started in code.
Yeah.
And then
it just broke down.
Then he was just like, when she wouldn't let him call home, and he was like, why the fuck not?
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, it's busy there.
Yeah, it's crowded, I think she said.
It's like, and he's like, bitch, listen.
Yeah. So we go through that, then we go back to Mina Rao, where the Empire is coming to that spot.
Mina Rao.
Where Bix and crew have been hanging out.
Oh, hello.
Because this whole time they've been sweating whether or not the Empire were going to get to their section or not.
Right.
Or when they were going to get to their section and how they were going to try to avoid them.
Right.
But unfortunately, the Empire shows up before they're able to enact their plan.
Mm-hmm.
So sad face there.
Best laid plans.
Yep.
Hope is a poor strategy.
Yeah. And then over on Chandrila, Mon Mothma is about to walk Lita down the aisle or whatever this tradition is, walk her through this pond area.
I have a maiden at the door.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, that whole thing. And she tries to convince Lita to postpone the wedding or to call it off. Right. She's like, you'll be remembered as somebody who did something brave and there's no shame in doing this and blah, blah, blah. And like she told this story about how her mom was drunk at her wedding. And Lita's response to all this was, I wish you were drunk right now. And, she did not want to hear that at all.
Right.
So she was pretty pissed at that point.
Yeah.
And then we go through a lot of this episode is a lot of these wedding traditions on Chandrila. It's like, the bride and groom like touching hands and walking in a circle and, just all this stuff going on that I'm not going to get into the details of, but you got to admire the person who made up all of this, that made up this whole Chandrila backstory and all of these traditions and everything.
Right.
Somebody had to come up with this stuff and write it all down. And
it is very creative. Maybe it's based on other stuff.
Could be,
but there's some juxtaposition that I'm probably not picking up on, and maybe with the next 3 episodes, it'll make more sense. I mean, we definitely have the, like, hey, here's what's happening with in the upper tiers, and then here's what's happening. Like, here's what's happening in the upper tiers of what's managing in the rebellion, and then here's what's happening at the ground level. Like,
okay.
Here's what's happening at the tactical level, and then here's what's happening,
That's
at the strategic level.
Yeah.
And although she's also at the tactical level because of it's just more field craft. But and I don't have a problem with it necessarily. I agree there is a level of detail to these things that I'm like, wow, this was like, now we're getting into the next really detailed thing about this fucking wedding, and I'm just like, okay, I guess we're doing this now. Like, am I going to need to know this?
Right.
Am I going to need to know this? Like, is
there going to be a quiz later?
Yeah, some secret code for this fucking wedding.
Yeah.
Like later when Mon Mothma's staring at fucking Akbar's eyes in fucking Jedi.
Probably not. Okay, and then we go back to Cyril and Dedra's apartment when his mom comes to visit.
Right.
And this is the point
which
where
he's very nervous about.
Yeah.
As he should be.
Yeah. And then, the mom comes in and she's degrading him like she always does.
Right. Immediately.
Yep. And at one point he excuses himself and he just goes and flops down on the bed in the other room.
Right. It's what did she said some shit. It was like they've been going back and forth, and finally he was at his tipping point, and he excused himself and just fucking and like a child just went to fucking sulk.
Yeah. I got a real laugh out of that when it panned over to see him in the bed and he's just laying there.
Right. like he was going to go get a refill, and he fucking just is like, no, I'm gonna die in here. This is going horribly, horribly wrong.
Yeah. And then Dedra gives the speech to the mom, which was fucking awesome.
This is what you're going to do.
Yeah. See, it's going to sound like this is optional, but this is not how you should take it. And she pretty much lays down the law. She says, I'll let him visit with you twice a month. He can call you on a regular basis, but otherwise stay the fuck out of our lives and watch your fucking mouth before you open it. And
she was like, and the mother was like completely floored.
Yeah. Yeah. But then after that, she was very nice to Cyril.
I have a feeling this is going to come back to haunt them. But the idea of controlling the mother is hilarious, for one.
Mm-hmm.
But it has consequence.
Sure.
I think at the end of the day, because yeah, she's ISB and she could dig up something on somebody, but this mother, she spouts off of her connections, and the stereotype that they're representing with this mother, she's probably going to ask questions about this ISB officer.
Mm-hmm.
And I can see there being some side quest with that, or not. They could just be like, okay, see, I'm going to take this woman out of the equation,
and
that's it. We'll never see her again, or if we do see her, she's going to be like completely cowed.
Yeah. And, it makes me wonder too, like because the Cyril and Dedra relationship, it has to be going somewhere, right? It has to be moving in a direction that makes sense with the rest of the season. And I'm so curious where they're going with this, because it's got to be more than just, oh, these are just a couple of side characters that are having their own little adventure over here. It's got to tie into the main story somehow.
Like I said, I think the ultimate thing with them is that it's about access. It's about getting to Luthen. Because, all right, as we're getting towards the end, right? We're in episode 3 now, right?
Yeah.
So everyone dies. Who lives?
Mon Mothma.
Mothma's the only one.
Yeah.
Right? That we know of, really, that lives. And we're starting to kill off people. Like Brasso's dead.
Yep.
So these characters,
Tay's about to be dead.
Right. So people are getting killed off.
Yeah.
Luthen's going to get killed. At some point
there's no way he makes it through this season.
And how he gets killed or how he gets compromised is, I think, has a direct correlation to Old Girl. Like her
Dedra
with the ISB and the investigation, like she's going to use that front of Cyril and, hey, this is all normal, and oh, now I have this access by being in this secret group now, but I'm still going to work on this other thing and really try and expose this guy. And then Luthen is going to, he's basically going to martyr himself for the cause.
Yeah, you kind of get the feeling that's where it's going.
And because we know everyone has to die. Like, at some point as we get throughout the series, that everyone's going to have to die. I think Deidre's going to have to die. Cyril's going to have to die. Like, all of them are going to fucking go.
Bix
is going to die sooner than later.
That'd be sad.
It will be sad. We didn't even talk about the rape sequence.
Yeah, we're getting there.
All right.
But yeah, I'm just curious where that relationship's going. We get to a point in this episode about halfway through where it starts really just doing these quick flashes between each storyline, between the wedding, what's going on with the Empire on Mina Rao, with Cyril's mom. It's just going back and forth really, really quick between all of them. And
Here's how badly dinner's going.
yeah. And, Tay talks to Mon Mothma again and basically talks how he's going to maybe approach Skolden about his problems. And that was the one thing that Luthen was really not wanting to happen, was him,
Right.
To involve this other guy in their operation.
Because they had a sidebar about it.
Yeah.
Luthen and Mothma had a sidebar specifically about that if he goes to this guy.
Yeah. And at one point, Luthen even tells her, like, look, I can't let this lie.
Yep.
And he says something else to her. I can't remember what he said.
Ow.
But basically, it was his way of saying, take care of her.
Right.
Where he tells her, like, this is going to be dealt with. And she's like, well, I don't know what you mean. And he's like, that must be nice.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And that's when she realized, oh, he's going to kill him.
Right.
Yeah. And then what does she do when she finds out? Well, she turns to alcohol.
Right. Yeah. So, she knows it's the right thing, though.
Right.
Right. And that's what's interesting about Mon Mothma. Like, her involvement in the cause is, she's not just an idealist in this. She's as much of a fighter as Luthen.
Yeah.
She just isn't doing all the wet work.
Mm-hmm.
So she can understand why Tay has to be eliminated.
Yeah.
But she's not cool with it.
Yeah, she's not thrilled about it at all.
So she's going to get fucking liquored up
Yeah.
and drown that, and then move on with her life. I mean, one
after
thing
she dances it all off.
right. She's sweating it out as she fucking does the shots.
Mm-hmm.
Had just a absolute blackout fucking dance-a-thon.
Yeah, it's like, I think there was one time where she like double fisted a fucking shot, just like, yeah.
We've never been there.
No.
None of us have ever done anything like that.
Never, ever.
It is really bad for you.
Yeah.
It is bad for your liver. It is bad for
your mental well-being.
It's bad.
Yeah. Don't use alcohol to drown out the problems going on in your life. It's not going to end well.
No, it is bad. Don't do that.
Yeah. But I have in my notes here, the Chandra-La wedding receptions are fucking lit.
Right?
They bring out that fucking electronic disco ball.
Right?
They start playing the fucking club music.
Did we talk on air about the hour-long thing?
No.
So I told Jason about it. If Star Wars official YouTube channel has an hour of Mon Mothma dancing on its channel.
Yeah, that's normally something that like a fan puts together or something like that. But this is the official Star Wars YouTube channel.
Yep.
They put out the fucking hour of Mon Mothma fucking clubbing it up.
Yeah, boots and pants dancing. Boots and pants and boots and pants and boots and pants and boots. Like she's, I love it. I love the dedication to something like that. Like this is, we're not going to talk about why she's in this state of mind.
That's all irrelevant. We're just gonna focus on the fun part.
Yeah, but just here's her dancing.
Yeah,
you wonder how she as the actress feels about that. Like
the hour of
right, because that's something that like, okay, I'm gonna go to this Star Wars YouTube channel, and I'm gonna see how many times this has been viewed.
Yeah, and in fact, I'm actually gonna look that up right now because I want to see when they posted it too. So let's see. And the funny thing was, if you just go into YouTube and hit Star Wars, it was like the first fucking hit. Yeah, 1 hour of Dancing Mon Mothma, Andor Season 2. This was just put up. This was just put up a day ago, and
I'm pretty sure I saw it yesterday.
Yeah, it's got 180,000 views. So it was probably somebody reacted or fans reacted to this dance scene positively.
I guess.
Right? And they're like, well, fuck it. Let's throw this video together real quick.
Are they that smart to react that quickly to something like that?
Maybe. I mean, maybe they put somebody else in charge of their, public relations, social media, and, they're paying attention to what's with it. What's hip.
What's it?
So, yeah. It's just really cool that they did that.
I agree. it's and it was really funny to fucking have that pop up on from StarWars.com. Because I only get pop-ups from certain channels that I subscribe to.
Right.
And StarWars.com is one of them, obviously.
Yeah.
And I'm like, is this for real?
Helmet Fire in the chat said many Bothans died to bring us that beat. Oh, that was great.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yep.
That's really good.
So, all right, let's talk about rape for a minute, shall we?
You talk about rape.
No, see, the thing I was
talking about rape and Patreon. Go ahead.
No, so the lieutenant obviously shows up at Bix's place again, because again, foreshadowed.
Right.
And this is the point where he tells her, look, I know you're illegal. There's, imagine my stress, where I have to.
My shoulders are kind of tense.
Yeah.
Right up here.
And he's getting close to her. He grabs her hand at one point. So we know what's up. And he's like getting close to her. And she's like, please don't.
Right.
So we know what the score is. We know what's about to go down. And there's a lot of physicality.
Yeah. She's like, it is a brutal fucking sequence.
Yeah.
Like this next 5 minutes.
Yeah, because they're both kicking the shit out of each other.
Right. Getting hit in the face. Like,
yeah, he fucking throws her against the wall.
Right. It's not for the faint of heart, honestly.
No. And so this is what I wanted to bring up, because she actually brings it up later when after she fights him off and bashes him in the head with a fucking wrench.
Mm-hmm.
His sergeant that was out there, has got his gun pointed, and he's like, come out, and blah, blah, blah. And she yells out, he tried to rape me, right? And this was, in my opinion, a bit of a crossroads. And it's something that I'm still not 100% okay with yet.
Okay.
Because this is the first time in Star Wars that the word rape has been used. It's the first time, any kind of sexual assault has been even insinuated, I think.
Okay.
In Star Wars. And, Star Wars has always had, even though it's got good guys doing bad stuff like blowing up planets, things like that, there's always still been a lightheartedness to it. Where, you could take your kids to watch any of the Star Wars movies. You could take your kids or you could show them any of the streaming shows until now. Now, I get it. I get that this is an adult-oriented show. We mentioned it for season 1, and I have no problem with that whatsoever. Those of us who grew up on Star Wars are ready for this kind of a thing.
Right.
But I feel like we crossed a line with the rape. And I'm not sure I'm 100% good with it. I don't know. I'm not trying to minimize it or say that we can't have adult things in Star Wars, but the rape aspect of it felt like it was going a bit too far for me. Yeah, I don't know. Because deep down, it seemed like even Anakin killing younglings, it still feels like deep down there's still an innocence to Star Wars that I think we lost with the rape part.
It's an interesting. You bring up an interesting point.
And maybe it's just a transition from one era to another.
Yeah, we're so desensitized as a society to some things, like based on other viewing medium, with other shows that are so focused on stuff like this. And you're right. This is an adult themed show. I mean, it has been.
Yeah, and we've known that, and I never,
I mean, this show started in a whorehouse.
True. Yeah.
So I don't think that. I think I understand what you're saying about the word rape being used and like the showing how the aggressiveness of this, and like this dude basically, you know, her avenging the act.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, like I don't have any what's the word I'm looking for? Shit. I don't have any qualms about or I don't have any preconceived notions about what the show is, and because of how this show started.
Mm.
Like everything that we talked about in this show has way more adult aspects to it.
Right, and I totally understand that. I agree that
false imprisonment, you know, the way people have been killed, like with electrocutions, guys having strokes, like it starts in a whorehouse. The guy is killing people because just to cover his own escape. Like this is they're showing the desperation and the causality for the things that lead them up to where they are.
Yeah.
And maybe they needed to show this display in order to make the next thing understandable.
Yeah.
But I definitely understand where you're coming from. I don't feel the same way about it, but I understand where you're coming from with that.
Yeah. And again, I don't necessarily dislike any of this. It's just it felt like Star Wars lost its innocence. I mean, that's really the best way I can describe it.
So we were watching a movie today. We were watching episode 3 today.
Yeah.
And in that beginning sequence where you have the Jedi, they pull that split S, they come over around the Venator class, and it's got the full battle sequence happening underneath them. And you got the clone squadron that pulls up behind them, and they're basically Operation Human Shield. And you get that X-Wing or whatever they're calling it explodes, and then you see the clone body
floating through space
go by you.
Yeah.
Like that clone body going by you is the innocence more so than this.
Okay.
To me, because that is like that's not like, oh, that guy could make it.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's his ship exploded. There goes the body.
Right.
Like, oh, all these Jedi are going to get killed. Here's the explosion. Here's the remnants of the vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't have to use your imagination.
Sure.
And ironically, that did strike me today. Like when I saw the clone body.
Yeah.
And I was like, geez, like, was that necessary?
Yeah. And, I'm sure a lot of people would say, again, Anakin's youngling daycare would have been the point where they crossed the line. So, again, it's a matter of opinion, and it's just kind of me thinking out loud. And again, not that I'm necessarily against this.
Right.
Because I like the adult-themed Star Wars stuff.
Yeah.
It's just the rape aspect was very jarring for me. Seeing that in Star Wars and hearing that word spoken in Star Wars.
It's definitely a different thing, and it makes it more. It makes it adult.
Yeah.
It takes it to another level.
Yeah, Chris in the chat, said, cut to black at some point and imply where they would do things, because we're not Game of Thrones here. Yeah, Game of Thrones is notorious for its rape scenes and all that stuff. But yeah, to me that's not Star Wars. But again, I'm not shitting on it. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It really, I don't know, it just threw me for a loop. That's all I'll say. Yeah, we'll move on from that though. back on Chandrila, Mon is really cranking it up. She's double fisting shots. She's fucking dancing it up like crazy. There's one point where her husband like looks over at her as she's dancing up like crazy, and he's like kind of like, interesting.
Yeah, what the fuck happened to her?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, she's got some liquid personality.
Yep. And Tay is on his way out because he had to leave early, as he told Mon Mothma, and he's going out, and his normal chauffeur wasn't there, but thankfully he's got Cinta, who's back.
Oh yeah, no, he had to step out. So, but I've been called to make sure you have a ride.
Yeah, and
guess who sees this happen?
Yeah, good old Vel.
Val's
because
Val wasn't she tasked to? Was she tasked to trail Tay, or did she just happen to be there?
I think she just happened to be there.
I can't remember.
Yeah, because she was talking to some other guests as they were walking out. And she happened to look over and see Cinta. And earlier in the episode, Mon asked her about it, like, "Oh, so what's going on with your friend?" And she's like, "I haven't heard from her."
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, because she's working.
Yeah, exactly. And we got a lot of hints of that last season when
she's married to the job, man.
Yeah,
it's if they wanted her to have a family, they would have fucking issued her one.
Right. So, Vel wants a piece that she just can't have because of the war, and Cinta's just doing whatever she's got to do to, for the rebellion, and any fun time she can have is secondary.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I
go ahead.
No, this again, it goes It now that you've brought it up, I think about these adult themes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the things that we're talking about with Cinta's dedication to duty and ignoring the relationship.
Yeah.
Right. This is, how many military people can relate to this type of thing?
Oh, I'm sure a lot.
Yeah. There's so many of us that can look at this and go like, oh, I told you 100% that makes sense. And that makes sense. And that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh yeah, she's totally like no, I've got to go on this mission. This is what's important right now.
Yeah.
Right. And some people that's like, I was given this mission and this is what I have to do.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And everything else is secondary. Not that I don't care about any of this, but the mission is first.
Yep.
And so many relationships don't survive that.
Sorry, Kristen's texting me like crazy.
What happened?
She's looking for something.
While you're doing that, Tina mentions that sexual abuse has been implied in Star Wars, but never outright spoken before. Yeah, and I don't even the implication of it. I don't think has been talked about in the show or in a movie. It's definitely been in the books.
Yeah.
But not anything like so mainstream.
Yeah.
Did you find said thing?
Yeah. No, it's fine. So we also haven't really talked about what's been going on with Brasso, but he got rolled up by the Empire, and Cassian shows up in the TIE Avenger, and he's going after this caravan that's following Brasso because he like escapes and runs off.
Right.
And they're shooting at him, and then there's this other caravan going, and Cassian just decides, well, what am I best at? Murder.
Yes.
And just fucking boom, just destroys that whole fucking caravan with all those Imperial guys on it. And
the Imperials are the enemy.
Yep.
And the best is like the Imperials are like,
what?
Hello.
Where's the box?
Over there. This is the point in the show where Jason's wife comes in, gives him some dirty looks, and goes about her business. Don't ask. So anyway, what were we talking about?
we were talking about
Oh yeah, Cassian and murder.
Murder, yes.
Yeah, and
The
then
convoy, no, the imp's going like, who called that guy? Who called them in?
yeah,
You know,
because
who-
they recognize it as a tie.
Right. But it's different. So they're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and then come to find out, it's destroying them all.
Yes. It's going to kill them.
Yep.
Yea, verily.
He sees Brasso's ship is blown up. He goes down and lands next to it, and sure enough, rest in peace, Brasso.
Yep.
He
One down.
Yep.
One of the main characters is gone, and I'm telling you, we should have a list of the characters and just start checking them off.
We should do that
when they're gonna go.
I should do that. I should make like a board or something.
Yeah.
That's got check boxes by everybody's names.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Try to remind me to do that
All
this
right.
week. Yeah, and then he finds Bix and Terrorist Boy, and they get in the fucking tie and they beat feet out of there. And you get this great two scene kind of moment where, Mon Mothma's still fucking tearing it up on the dance floor, and you've got that beat going the whole time as Cassian and his crew are all just like downtrodden, just looking like, their world just got destroyed as they're flying away from Planet Wheat.
Yeah, and I think what's interesting at the end of this, when you're looking, Cassian turns and looks at Bix and Terrorist Boy. We really need to know his name.
I know. He's got a name.
Right. But he turns and looks, and he sees their faces.
Mm-hmm.
They left the droid, didn't they?
Yeah, B2. Yeah,
B2
he's still on the planet,
He's still on the planet.
which means they're going to have to go back at some point.
Yeah, probably. However, all right. So he looks back though, and he sees just like the devastation of what has happened.
Yeah.
And for him, I think it just what we're meant to get and watch on him is him go deeper into this. All right, I am basically the knife that is part of this rebellion.
Mm-hmm.
And my job is to destroy the empire.
Yeah.
Right? That is my purpose. And the more that the people that he loves get affected, the deeper into that purpose he gets. And that's the look I got from when he looked back at his people and saw there was one less and saw how they looked, and then you just looked at his face. That's the impression that I got. That's
okay.
So great job on their part to make me feel that. In that moment with with that music and everything else going, like, it's just that little pull in that they did.
Yep.
So great, good on them for making me feel that.
Yeah. The structure of this last episode I thought was really good. The way they were constantly going back and forth between all the different storylines and that ending was fantastic. So that's it for the first 3 episodes. Overall, I enjoyed it. Like I said, the first time I watched these 3 episodes, I didn't have quite as warm of a feeling about it as I do now.
Right.
So it took a second viewing for it to really soak in. So if you did watch these 3 episodes and you were kind of like, nah, give it another watch. Let it all soak in. But so far I'm in.
Yeah, and like I said before, the last season, I think we were kind of in the same boat where it's like, how do we feel about this? And as we got more into the show, it like stuff kind of built to the point where it's like, oh, okay, this is the level of intensity that we want, because we do. That's what I'm in it for. I'm in it for this level of intensity.
Yeah,
like I'm not into like dramatic stuff, and I'm like, I don't necessarily want to have anxiety when I watch TV, but I love the intensity of this.
Yeah.
And how it's making me think not everything is presented to me cleanly. I'm thinking and trying to imply certain things. So it's good. It's really good.
Yep. So that's that then. Do you have anything to go over for reads?
I don't. Again, because I did not warn Lunar Girl that we were doing this today, so that is
It's a surprise to everybody.
surprise, bitches. So she did not get the opportunity to do my notes as per usual.
But now she's got the week off.
Yes. So, but saying that, ATSW Family Happenings, I'm assuming, I'm just going to put it out there that the Escape Pod is going to be doing more Andor Season 2 on Wednesday.
Oh, yeah, I would think so.
I would think so.
Well, and now I feel like I can go back and watch their episode last week.
Right.
Because I hadn't seen the episodes by then.
So, yes, do that. Just like Jason just said. That way you're not spoiled.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you see all the episodes before you see those guys. And they might not be talking about Andor season 2 next week. I don't know. So, but I will say, you can know if you go on Wednesday at 19:05, 7:05 Eastern Daylight on YouTube. No. I don't know what Alan and Chris are going to be doing on Thursday, but I'm sure they're going to be doing something. So go to Grave Reviews on YouTube at 2000, 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight. Layman's Terms. Don't know what he's put out, but you can go to his YouTube as well. There'll be a link in the YouTube for him once I update the YouTube description. Orange Fett Show. Sure, they released something. They were up to episode 142. Can you believe it?
That's insane.
So they probably this week are up to 143. But go catch them on Apple or Spotify. Support the official Sidebar Cantina band till the end and buy their shit. Go to tilltheendofficial.com to check out their tees, sweatshirts, stickers, and posters. Be sure to drop your email for updates, as an album should be coming soon. They had something recently drop on YouTube, had a video drop. I believe it's a video that was premiered on our show.
That's right.
So, that's right. No, don't say the next part. So, till the end official.com. Buy their shit. Used and abused. Not sure if they went live, but if they did, you go find them on YouTube and watch their shit. For us, you can find us. You can find us. Why is that different? I don't know. You can find us at bio.link/sidebarcantina, where you can find our links to Patreon, YouTube, and our audio podcast on Apple, Audible, and Spotify, and social media platforms, including X, Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, TikTok, and Discord. Once you get to the bio link, simply click the symbols under our pick. It's go to your platform of choice. You can also find our past Spotify music mixtapes, playlists. I'm adding words, I shouldn't. Also, in our bio link is a TeePublic merch shop. Choose from 7 designs on everything from t-shirts to hoodies to tote bags, phone cases, exclusive sticker pen, wall art magnets, notebooks, laptop cases, pillows, just about anything you can imagine. Nothing says loving like a naked Jason chick on a pillow. Go to bio.link/thesidebarcantina and click merch. Reviews?
No new reviews.
Write us a 5-star review on Apple or Audible. Please. Wherever you're doing a review, just post it, and you do it on Facebook, Instagram, do whatever. Talk good shit about us. screenshot it, DM it to Lunar Girl, DM it to our Instagram or Twitter, and Lunar Girl will send you a super cool ATSW family swag pack.
Yeah.
This is your chance to tell us your thoughts on the show, or not. Jason or Jennifer Lopez or Hank or Edith or Mama or John Tom or Carl or somebody phone will read your review word for word on our next episode. Let us know who you want to read it. Finally, if you catch us on Spotify, check us out and click those stars. I keep every week I want to reword this portion. Every week I forget. If you are listening to us on audio, please consider joining us in the live chat on Mondays or Sundays, but mostly Mondays. The chat is most definitely where it's at. If you are new to Sidebar, please subscribe, ding that bell, select all to receive notifications when we go live, especially when we do go live on an odd schedule. Then you would have saw it go and bing. How'd you get press?
He's kind of a big deal.
Son of a bitch. Let us know your secret, because that would be awesome. Anyway, ding that bell, receive notification when we go live, smash that like button. It really helps us out. As always, huge shout out to all of our Patreon supporters. You are the reason why we do this.
Yes.
And that is all.
All right. So since probably only our most loyal of fans are still with us at this point, I guess I can say what I was going to say before. I don't condone rape in any way, shape, or form. So I just want this to be made perfectly clear. But, you know. That's all.
Hang on a second. I got something. I have something for this. Hang on. How do I not have it? Oh, I'm going to make a new thing.
The opinions of Jason do not reflect the opinions of Dave.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, if the Imperial officer was going to pick anybody on that planet, come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
I mean, yeah.
Dave doesn't want to say anything else. So
that is nope.
All right. Well, that's the show, folks. Sorry for the last minute shift to Sunday, but things came up, and
but yeah, my wife is getting an award from her school tomorrow, and I'm going to that. So
yeah. Congratulations to Kathy.
Yeah, she's fucking earned it.
Yeah. So I forgot to bring in a drink, so I can't properly toast. But
just
we'll
got a cup up there. You could just pretend
it's empty. But look at it, it's got the Empire logo on it.
Yeah, I stare at it all the time.
All right. Well, until next time, Dave and everybody else, may the force be with you.
May the force be with you. Oh wow, that was terrible. We really need to just get fake glasses in here. Okay, now what do I click?
Hey Tom. Yeah, we had to do a last minute switcher upper to accommodate Dave's schedule, so we had to do it today with very little warning. But yeah, you can always just rewind 2.5 hours and see what we had to say.
I don't have too much to say.
It was good. It was a good episode. I'm glad we're back on Andor, and I'd like to try to stay up with it, do all 3 episodes, but we'll see.
I'm sure I'll be able to.
Yeah. It's just a matter of finding the time to watch all of them.
I have faith. I have faith you can do it.
I appreciate your vote of confidence.
I am also busy, so I can appreciate your I can appreciate the need to try and dig up the time.
Yeah.
I have to pee so fucking bad.
You should probably start the transfer and then do that.
Yeah. Your angry wife isn't going to come out and beat me, is she?
No, I'm sure she's saving that for me for when I get back in.
Fair enough.
I wanted to buy I saw a t-shirt online that says "My wife beats me" on it, and I wanted to buy it, but she vetoed it.
I can't imagine why.
I know that would only like paint her in a good light, right?
Jeez.
What can I say? All right, I think it's time to end the stream again.
Yes.
Sorry, guys, for the change of schedule. Won't happen again. Well, I shouldn't say that. It probably will happen again.
Oh yeah, I absolutely will happen again. That's okay.
But we're gonna try to stay on schedule. So we're not recording tomorrow, but we will the following Monday.
Yes.
Unless plans change.
And, unless shit happens.
Yeah. So we'll catch you next time. Have a great rest of your weekend, and go Andor.
See ya.